What's up, guys? Everyone, the Switch 2 is confirmed, finally. Now, while we've known that Nintendo will be announcing the next system anytime now, they've finally given the first mention of it officially with hints on what's coming per their Twitter account. Even further, there's been tons of leaks recently that give significant hints to what the system will actually be. Now, for this video, we'll do it in 4 topics. We're going to go over Nintendo's official mention of the system, we're going to go over all the leaks I've been talking about, my own wish list of the system, which are things that I want from a Switch 2, and of course, I'm going to go over each leak and tell you which one's true and which ones I think are kind of BS. Nintendo tweeted this yesterday during an investor meeting. This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo, who will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of a Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024, but please be aware there will be no mention of a Nintendo Switch successor during that presentation. So it's kind of funny that Nintendo has this habit of doing these big landslide announcements just via a Twitter reply or whatever. You know, considering they love doing their directs and they love doing their big presentations, having a tweet announce this is just kind of hilarious. But they're the exact same thing when they announce that there's going to be a Mario Brothers movie and, of course, a Legend of Zelda live-action movie as well, along with who knows how many other announcements. But hey, if Twitter is the way they want to do it, then, you know, I'm fine with it too. Gets the information out nice and quick. Now, so far, Nintendo is only mentioning it as the successor to Nintendo Switch and isn't stating yet if it's more of a direct system sequel, like the Wii U to the Wii, or a big departure like the Switch was after the Wii U. However, I have been seeing some recent tweets as of me filming this right now that is, sort of them leaning towards it actually being a Switch Part 2. I think they really do want to keep the fact that they have a home console that you can then pick up, have it on the go, and be handheld. That marriage of the handheld and the console markets, which they have had separate for so long. The Switch now is the marriage of those two, and I doubt they're going to ever want to go away from that sort of principle of the console they have. They're the ones who are doing it the best, and I'd be surprised if they ever dropped it. So as I said, there will be a large Nintendo Direct in June, but this will not have any information regarding the new system and will only mention the remaining Switch titles. There are very few big Switch exclusive games that we know about coming to the system that won't be out yet. Really just being Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, Pokemon Legends of Ether A, and Metroid Prime 4. We'll definitely receive some announcements of new titles coming to the Switch. Outside of brand new titles, some remakes that we might end up seeing could be Zelda Wind Waker HD coming to the Switch. It's one of the only remaining games locked on the now discontinued Wii U, especially since you can't purchase it on the store anymore. Of course, the Paper Mario remake, since Mario RPG and Thousand Year Door were remade on the Switch, and now they have the Paper Mario engine, why not use it to remake the original Paper Mario as well? It makes sense. And perhaps some titles that were locked on the 3DS could be remade for the Switch, like Zelda Link Between Worlds, Metroid Samus Returns, or Super Mario 3D Land. Now, I do have a wish list for this new system, this quote-unquote Switch 2, that is apparently coming out in the next near future. And the ones that first come to my head, I would say, is we definitely need backwards compatibility. Having things available on the Switch need to be available on the Switch 2. It just makes sense. More ergonomic controllers and probably a system that's a little lighter to play on the go. I know there was some weight to the Switch, and of course with Joy-Con drift and the original issues of the Switch, doing away with those and just having controls that are more accurate, especially when you're on the go, I think it's a really, really very important part of a 2-in-1 console as they have here. I would like a better system customization. Themes like a 3DS, how you organize games. Just having the Switch be just the bare bones, either the black theme or the white theme. I mean, it's clean. It does things properly. But I think Nintendo really, when you think about all the past consoles that released, the colors of controllers, the cool themes, the special editions, I think being able to even buy and sell themes on a marketplace or a Switch to give your console a little more customization, I think it'll be a great thing. And it's an easy, cash grab for Nintendo too. And of course, better network performance. So I can, sing to you the gripes that I've had about Nintendo Online, especially with Smash, for videos and videos if you want me to. But as we all know, it ain't perfect. It's got a lot of flaws. And, one can dream that Nintendo actually implements rollback into a Smash title at some point. I'm not saying it'll never happen because the universe and the world is a strange place, but, that would be the thing I would want to see above maybe everything else. But having another Switch console gives them a chance to really make these things happen. All right, so now let's get to the leaks. We have one article here from Universo Nintendo on February 10th, basically saying that the Switch 2 is going to have backwards compatibility with OG Switch titles, going to offer both physical and digital games, and of course, it's going to give the devs the option to enhance their Switch 1 games to take advantage of the added processing power. For me, that's one of the main things that everyone wanted from the Switch 2, and this first article, be it real or not, does seem to confirm that wish coming true for a lot of people. Our next article is from another Spanish article called Vanadal on April 26th. This is information that was released from accessory manufacturers. It says their expected release of this Switch 2 would be early 2025. It's going to be bigger than current Switch models, but not as big as the Steam Deck. New Joy-Cons will attach magnetically to the screen, which I thought was pretty interesting, and current Switch Pro controllers will be compatible. However, it's unknown if the OG Joy-Cons will be compatible. This will make sense too, especially if there's a snapping mechanism towards it, and maybe they want people to just do away with, of course, their old drifting Joy-Cons. To me, this is a smart call. And even though the idea of a magnetic controller attaching could be wary to some, if they use something like neodymium magnet, something really strong that has a really firm snap, I could really enjoy and see myself just having Joy-Cons instead of just sliding out, I can just snap them off. Me, I prefer that. So hopefully that is what they go with. Another leak we had is the Korean Mail Business newspaper on April 26th. Basically here, they said that the NVIDIA Tegra T239 SoC will be manufactured by Samsung using their 7LPH process. Samsung 5th generation V NAND will be used for both internal storage and game cards. Samsung will also provide the displays, but no specific type of technology, whether it was LCD or OLED screens, has been mentioned. So it seems that Samsung will have heavy involvement in the hardware for this console, according to that leak. One of the leak was the supposed accessory manufacturer on April 27th. OG Joy-Con and Pro controllers are still going to be supported according to this leak. They're still going to have HD Rumble. The original Joy-Cons won't attach physically to the system like the current system, but they still will work wirelessly. Switch 1 game cards will be supported like Switch 2, but the new Switch 2 cards won't fit on a Switch 1, which is of course a theme that we've seen with the 3DS coming from the DS. New Joy-Cons are larger and magnetically attached, so that's now two different articles mentioning this, and they use an electromagnet to secure them, and the SL and SR buttons are now metallic. There's two new buttons, one behind the Joy-Con and one below the home button. The dock still uses USB-C and now has 4K support. The kickstand has a damping bracket for improved adjustments. The screen is 8 inches, running at 1080p. We also have a source leak from Pokemon leaker CentroLeaks, saying that 3 Pokemon projects have already been greenlit for the Switch 2. And finally, the other leak that we see was for Brazilian TVPH on May 7th, saying that the Switch 2 is planned to release on March 2025. There's more information being expected about the console in fall. There's more remasters going to be revealed in the June Direct, being planned as the last big Switch 1 focused Direct. There's an indie world planned for August, and some third-party games will be confirmed for Switch 2 as early as the second half of this year. And it reiterates, of course, that the Switch 2 will have both physical and digital backwards compatibility with OG Switch games. Now, as always, all these leaks, you need to take them with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, they are just leaks. But what is telling to me is that a lot of these corroborate with each other. I only believe leaks when two completely different countries or two completely different leakers seem to hit the nail on the head exactly on one, detail or one aspect. Because when you have like multiple people who are unrelated saying the same thing, the odds of it being true go very, very high. So in this case, from what I understand, the idea of giving devs the option to enhance their, Switch 1 games into 4K Switch 2, I understand it could be there, but to me, that still is like a question mark for me if it's actually going to be the case, or if they're just going to focus on just making new games in general, because a lot of people are still going to, rebuy their old titles. Of course they will. But I think if I had to choose which detail of the Switch 2 from the leaks is the most likely, I think the magnetic Joy-Con attachment. The fact that I've heard it from 2 or 3 different sources, and the fact that it kind of just makes sense, especially if they have a strong enough magnet, it just seems like it would be more ergonomically sound, and it would be a great way to show maybe a new feature, right? I think Nintendo doesn't want to make the same mistake as the Wii U, where they announce a new system, but then the consumers are confused whether it's just an upgrade thing that you add to the Wii. Is it a new console? Is it a tablet? The issue with the Wii U was the communication of the product, and a lot of people were left confused. And for that reason, of course, the Wii U had the lowest selling number in a lot of categories for Nintendo. But in this case, I can already see it. They do a commercial showing the new Switch, and instead of the slide, they just snap it off like a snap it off. I can see it being a thing too. There needs to be a marked physical difference between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2, or whatever it's going to be called. Hopefully not the Switch U. Please, God, do not call it the Switch U. Call it something cool. Switch X, I don't know what it is. Just make it unique, right? And if it's unique, the consumers will understand it's a brand new thing. New. That's the important part. And them making, of course, Switch 1 games compatible on the Switch 2, that's a no-brainer. There's no reason why you wouldn't have that. And, of course, you can't play Switch 2 games on the Switch 1. That's just a 99% sure guarantee that's going to be the case. They always do that with their, step-up consoles, whether it was Game Boy or DS. They always do that. So that backwards compatibility is going to be there. Of course, physical and digital. That all makes sense. Having old controllers be compatible with a new one wirelessly also makes sense. The same way that Nintendo was letting you use your Joy-Cons on the Wii U, and vice versa. Switch Pro controllers, everyone's of course used to that feel, and it makes sense that they would use the exact same codec for that controller based on what they're going to do here. The other things that I'm not too sure about is going to be, for instance, details about the buttons being metallic. Maybe not too sure. And of course, the Pokemon leak saying 3 Pokemon projects have been greenlit for the Switch 2. I mean, let's be honest. There's going to be 3 Pokemon games for any Nintendo console that they put out. You know what I mean? that's more of just like a guarantee at this point. It doesn't have to be a leak. I believe it. I've been looking into it. And then there's the date of release. Everyone's saying early 2025. And now that Nintendo has put out that tweet, it would track that within a year of that tweet, the console ought to be released. And of course, this June Direct is going to give us a lot of information, not on the new console, but of course, how the original Switch 1 is going to be ending. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. And I do think that the early 2025 release date is true. I do think the backwards compatibility is true. And I do think that the magnetic Joy-Con snapping on is true. I'm most excited to see what games are going to be on this thing. Of course, Smash 6, or we're just going to get a remastered Ultimate Deluxe with 4K graphics. Even if that's the case, that's still a step up because it offers a patch. It offers maybe a new angle on things. Who knows? The point is, it really is incredible to think that we've had the Switch now for 9 years. That seems long between consoles. But of course, we can't really count it because 3 years in the quarantine of the pandemic kind of wore our time sick. Anyways, that's what I have for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What is the Switch 2 going to include? Is it going to be a Smash 6? Are these leaks true? What do you want to see of this console? And will it be truly a perfected version of Nintendo's vision? Let me know what you guys think. And as always, thank you for watching. And make sure to subscribe. We're going to do more news videos like this. I was traveling a lot and I wasn't able to do too much content. But now that I'm home for a bit, competing, grinding, definitely want to keep you guys all in the know of things that happen. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.